So, as a senator, you know you're in the spotlight with the pick now of Gaetz as Attorney General. And the question is, will he make it through, confirmation? Will you vote to confirm him? What do you think of him as a pick? Because Trump put it out there on a truth saying he's going to root out corruption at the DOJ. He wants honesty, integrity, transparency. Are you on board with him as Attorney General, Senator Cruz?
Well, I think it is critically important that we root out the partisan bias that under Joe Biden has infected the Department of Justice, has infected the FBI. Joe Biden has weaponized our law enforcement and used it to target his political enemies. That has to end.
Yep.
Now, as for that particular nomination, look, we have a process under the Constitution where the Senate provides advice and consent, and I trust that process. That nominee, like every other, will have a vigorous vetting, will have confirmation hearings, and every nominee is going to be judged on the merits. I will say that was a pick that was, I think, very surprising to the entirety of the Senate. And so we'll assess the nominee on the merits, but there's a process that will unfold that examines a particular nominee's background, their experience, and their suitability for a role.
So you're keeping an open mind. We know that Mike Lee from Utah, who you're on Judiciary Committee with, was also floated on the short list. What do you make of that?
Well, listen, Mike Lee is a dear friend and an incredible lawyer and a constitutional warrior. I don't know that there's a more important position in this Trump administration than Attorney General, and so I think it's critical to have someone there who will follow the law, who has integrity, who is a constitutionalist, and who has the courage to root out the incredible partisanship and weaponization that has infested this DOJ. Look, I'm an alumnus of the Department of Justice, and DOJ has a long tradition of being nonpartisan, following the law regardless of someone's party, and it needs to return to that tradition, and it's going to take a very strong leadership at the Department of Justice to get there.
We were watching yesterday as the secret vote was happening, and we know now that John Thune emerged as the next GOP leader. You had actually endorsed Rick Scott, despite your fellow Texas Senator John Cornyn also running for the post. How do you feel about the win by Thorne? Obviously, this is the move forward. He spoke this morning. You have full confidence?
Look, I'm good friends with John Thune. I think he's a good man, and I think he's going to be a good Senate Majority Leader. I certainly hope that he will be. And I can say this, that the Senate Republican majority is committed to working hand in hand with President Trump to deliver on the promises we made to the American people. The results on Election Day were a mandate. It was an incredible, overwhelming mandate across the country. And it's a mandate now to deliver on our promises. And I have every confidence that the Republican Senate and the Republican House are going to stand up and work with President Trump to deliver on our promises to secure the border, to deliver on our promises to get economic growth coming back, to get jobs coming back, to bring inflation down, and to deliver on our promises to defend this nation. It is a very dangerous world, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's weakness has empowered our enemies. We need, again, a strong commander-in-chief and to defend this nation, and I'm confident that the Republican Senate will work hand-in-hand with the president to deliver on those promises.
So you don't think there'll be a need for recess appointments? Donald Trump had truthed about that the other day. Do you think it'll come to that?
Look, I think the Senate will move expeditiously to carry out its responsibility to engage and advise and consent. That's a very important constitutional step in the process. And listen, do I expect the Democrats to engage in obstruction to try to delay it? Yes. And the more they engage in obstruction, the more that there are checks and balances under the Constitution to press back on their unnecessary delay. I think the Senate confirmation process is very important, regardless of who is president, but we also need to move expeditiously and get a team in place to start implementing and delivering on the promises made to the American people. That's a responsibility the Senate has as well.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.